Yeah, so we're going to start installing our panel system now. This one has the electrical outlets. We've got a 12 volt here and USB here. Got the little ring on the back. This guy just goes through here from the back. Just twist it till it's tight, and then we'll move on to installing the panel into the wall. So now that we've connected the 12 volt and the USBs, we're going to install this front lower panel. We've got 6 M5 factory holes that we use. We're going to get a couple of them started, and then we leave it loose so we can install the rear panel and make sure they're aligned. All right, so you can see that we've got the forward and rear lower pieces as well as the piece around the window all installed with the M5s. So now we're moving on to this rear upper piece. It's got 2 sets of vertical L-track holes. Those will be M6s, as well as 3 M5s in the very back. So this piece is relatively large. It can be done by yourself, but it's nice with a partner. We have temporarily installed these M6 bolts here to set the panel on while we do the work. Once we're done and this is all tight, we'll take those out. We've provided you with a bag of longer M6 bolts. These are specifically for these vertical tracks in the mid and rear section. Go ahead and use those, it'll make the install easier. All right, so now that everything's in on this side, we'll go ahead and repeat the process on the passenger side, and then we're ready to move on to the ceiling. So here we have our rear ceiling panel. It's already got the fan and light cutouts. It's also got these brackets on either side. So we've provided these to attach to the rear other ceiling panels, which we call the wings. So we've provided M5s, short ones. These will be identified in the parts list that you'll use to attach these little brackets. Leave them loose, and then they'll be easily adjustable as you go to attach everything. You can tighten them up once everything's connected. So now we're going to put the ceiling panel up. Now you can do this by yourself, but it is really nice to have a partner. The biggest thing is we're going to feed the light wires through the panel and then hold it up, and it's going to get attached in a couple of places before we move on. So we're going to install the front panel. This one has 4 lights in it, so we just have 4 sets of wires to feed through. Then we'll put it up, and then we'll tighten things a little bit, and then we'll put in track. So here we have a piece of ceiling track. It's the first piece of track we're going to put in. These are not directional. They'll go either way. We're going to put them into all of these holes that are into the ceiling brackets. We're going to put these in loosely because then we're going to put in the wings and then tighten everything down. So here we have the rear driver wing. What we're going to do is we're going to slide it behind the track, and then as we did at the lower part, we're going to put a couple of bolts in here to set it on. Then we're going to line up these 2 holes with this bracket that we already installed into the rear ceiling piece, and then put those bolts in, and then we'll be ready to move on to the forward driver. So we've got this in, we've got the bracket loosely attached. We're gonna do the same thing on the passenger side, and then we'll move on and do the front driver wing. So now we have the forward driver wing. Same thing, we're gonna slide it behind the track. We're gonna put a couple of M6 bolts in there to hold it still, and then we're gonna attach it to this bracket. So now we're going to install all the L-track on the driver's side of the van. It's all directional, it'll only go one way. So we're going to put that in, and then we'll just show you what it looks like when we're done. So we've provided this bracket to go over the slider for the abbreviated front passenger wing. So we're using the factory studs here, and we're going to take off the factory nuts that come with them. Take these off with a 10 mil socket. So we're just going to set this up and attach all these with those same sockets you just took off. So the last panel piece is this abbreviated forward passenger wing. And we're just going to slide it up under the L-track just like we have for the other pieces. We're going to attach it to this bracket as well as this bracket that's going to connect it to the rest. So the last panel we're going to install is this abbreviated forward passenger wing. We're going to slide it in under the L-track just like we have with the others. We're going to attach to this bracket with the longer M5s that you've received and to this little bracket with the shorter M5s. We'll show you what it looks like when we're all done. So now we're going to reinstall the headliner. We're going to do it, it's basically exactly the reverse of what you did to take it out. First thing we're going to do is slide it in, and then we're going to make sure to attach the electrical. Don't want to forget that. Then it's going to slide in here. You're going to lift these back up, and these little hooks are going to seat right in there. Then the A-pillar bolts are the short gray ones. And then it's worth noting that the longer flanged bolt will go horizontally to hold the visor, and the shorter non-flanged bolt goes up vertically to hold the visor. So we'll put it in and get back to you when we're done. So now that we've reinstalled the headliner and put in the transition piece, we're going to reinstall the B-pillar as well. So first thing you want to do is make sure that the seatbelt adjustment is all the way down, and then the corresponding seatbelt adjustment on the van is all the way down so that they match. They're easier to put together that way. So next we're going to feed the seatbelt through the pillar itself. Then we're going to slide the B-pillar past the pedestal. It's got little feet on it. We're going to slide those into the van. You'll know it's lined up when the hole over the in the B-pillar lines up with the hole for the D-ring. You're going to line up all your plugs and clips, and you're just going to pop it back in. Once everything's back in, you're going to reinstall the D-ring with a T45, and then you're going to reinstall the seatbelt with a 17 mil socket.